Bonjour. Oui, ça va.
J'ai une question sur Boeing, sur Boeing qui, selon ce qu'on entend, obtiendrait un contrat pour des avions de remplacement pour l'aviation royale. Est-ce que, donc Bombardier serait écarté, est-ce que vous pensez que les libéraux ont bien géré ce dossier-là?
Je pense pas.
Pourquoi?
Moi, je pense qu'il faudrait favoriser l'industrie canadienne. D'abord, c'est les taxes des citoyens qui payent pour ces avions-là. Moi, je pense qu'il faudrait que les retombées économiques soient d'abord au Canada, aussi bien pour l'avionnerie que les navires. On construit nos navires au Canada. Ce n'est pas des étrangers qui les construisent. Fait que je pense qu'il faudrait avoir une approche similaire par rapport à l'avionnerie pour garder l'expertise chez nous.
Le fait que ça s'est fait sans appel d'offres, selon ce qui circule là, en ce moment, ça devrait se confirmer aujourd'hui. Est-ce que
ça démontre que vous avez lu le rapport que le comité de la défense a fait sur l'Arctique et sur la défense en général. Ça démontre clairement que les forces armées sont en décrépitude et que le gouvernement est en panique pour redonner aux forces armées le minimum d'outils pour protéger le Canada. Je pense que c'est la seule raison. Hein.
Could we get that in English? What do you think of the possibility of a Boeing sole source contract?
What I said is we should encourage Canadian industry to keep in Canada knowledge about building airplane, as we did for the Navy, and also those airplanes will be paid by Canadian taxes. So we should encourage the Canadian industry for building planes.
Selon les informations qui circulent, là, il y aurait des installations qui seraient à Montréal. Ce serait un peu, si on veut, le compromis que les libéraux font. Est-ce que c'est un compromis satisfaisant?
Moi, je pense qu'on ne devrait pas avoir de compromis. Je pense que chaque dollar canadien qui est pris à même les travailleurs qui actuellement trouvent ça dur, le coût de la vie, devrait être à 100% dépensé au Canada et profiter à 100% pour les Canadiens.
Donc, selon vous, il ne devrait pas y avoir d'appel d'offres. On devrait choisir une entreprise canadienne?
On le fait pour le métro à Montréal. On le fait pour d'autres types d'industries. Et on sait que Bombardier, c'était très difficile. Le gouvernement du Canadien a mis 1 milliard dans Bombardier. Fait que moi, je pense qu'il faut tirer profit de tous ces argents-là qu'on a mis là-dedans.
Merci.
Allez, bonne semaine à vous.
Merci.
Mr. Aitchison, what do you think about this new Leger poll where 2/3 of Canadians are linking higher immigration levels to the housing crunch and worsening healthcare pressures in the healthcare system?
Well, there's no question that this government hasn't planned for anything. There's no question we need more Canadians to help us fund an economy that's struggling to find people to work. And so it's part of the problem. But this is another classic situation where you have a federal government that is long on photo ops and talking points and short on results. And so you have a situation where, they've been talking about housing since 2017. It was going to be life-changing, transformational, and we see the transformation.
But you believe that higher immigration levels are part of the problem that we're facing with housing right now?
I don't think they're a problem. I think that they're part of the situation. The situation is that we have a general lack of supply. We need more units. And we haven't been planning for more units for decades now, and this government's just finally starting to wake up to the fact that they've bungled the file, and Canadians are paying the price.
How are you going to vote on the Ukraine trade deal?
Mr. James, how smart is it for Freeland to be picking a fight with the Biden administration on the digital services tax?
You know what, I'll leave that for all you smart folks. I'm very curious as to why those who are really interested in democracy aren't really upset about what's happening over in the Senate. You have unknown, unelected, and unaccountable senators. It's time for them to get out of the way and pass a financial piece of legislation. There is no need for any of them to need witness protection. They should go back to doing what they're good at, which is being invisible. There's a piece of financial legislation that's been sitting there for over a year that's been duly passed by the House of Commons. There's other pieces of legislation that are not financial measures, which is routinely and regularly happening at the Senate. They need to get out of the way, learn their place, remember their place in the democracy. There's a number of great senators doing really great work, and they are putting at risk their entire credibility and undermining confidence in that institution.
Do you think it's time for a Senate reform? In that vein, do you think we should have a Senate reform?
They're making a very good case for it right now. Thank you very much.
What do you mean about witness protection? What do you mean by that comment? Afternoon. What do you think about the government reaching a deal with Google when it comes to
news.
I don't have any comment about that, but I would
Do you
definitely.
have a comment on something you would like to say?
Just the recent suicide of a 12-year-old boy. I think that you guys should be covering a lot of that right now.
What would you like to? What
there's been
What do you think the federal government's role? Do you think there is a role for them?
I think you'll be getting some information on that today, but I think it's very devastating, and I think we need to be paying attention to this. And if you look, there's been an 815% increase in online sexual luring of kids, and that's from your Children First report that I think you guys should be referring to. It's pretty powerful. It's a pretty tragic story.
Is there room for online harms legislation? The federal government has promised that. Do you see that legislation like that having a role in crimes and tragedies such as this?
Listen, I think we've seen what the Liberals continually do, which is they promise things and they don't do them. And then you have catastrophic results like this.
What are some solutions? Is there anything that should be being done here? Have you had any comment on the tragedy out of BC? The 12-year-old young boy?
Well, right now it's devastating, and I'm really pleased that Todd Doherty, he started an initiative a number of years ago to get a national suicide hotline, a 988 line. I think that's one step the federal government can take. Another one is what's taking place in Industry Committee right now, and that's the Conservatives' push to fix the broken Bill C-27. The Liberals had an opportunity to enshrine a child's right to privacy, to enshrine to make a world-leading law to put the rights of children and their activity on the internet before big corporations and commercial interests. They didn't do that, so we're fixing their huge mess, and we're going to make sure that the best interests of children are protected on the internet, that companies aren't going to be able to nudge children. We're going to do everything we can to protect kids on the internet, because Minister Champagne and the previous industry minister screwed it up and they let kids down. Their desire to come to committee and then give us amendments that they say they're going to put forward later on is frankly a derelict of the minister's duty to put forward a bill that he thinks is good and then have it be amended later. But for the minister to come before committee and say, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about putting the best interests of children first, is frankly not good enough. So the Conservatives are going to fix this broken bill. We're going to make sure that we do everything to make sure that kids' activity doesn't stay with them forever, that policies and guardrails are put in place so that kids aren't subject to harm online. Thank you.